I still work. I worked at Wendy's. My older sister worked at Wendy's. I went to work at Wendy's.
Yep.
And by October 1st, my mom went in a coma. My world shattered.
Welcome to the Americas Podcast. My name is John Schroeder, and today I am joined by Sally Ann Watts-Hartage. Sally, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So Sally, I got a chance to just briefly talk to you on the phone. You filled out our form. We talked a little bit about just your life before the podcast just now. And I have just, as a next level neighbor, as this idea continues to grow and what that means, one of the values that we see is this idea of courage. And so when I called you, you were just like, podcast? What? Who are you? Sure. And I think that was very courageous of you. And then we got a chance to hear a little bit of your story, and I just see that courage. And so I am super excited about you being able to share that with others. And so again, thank you for coming on the podcast, and share with us a little bit about some of the things that you already shared with me, but just growing up in Sumter County, tell me a little bit about your family, tell me a little bit about your childhood, your interests, and even what got you eventually to just being right here in Americas.
Well, I'm the fourth child out of 6. I grew up in a small town, DeSoto, Georgia, that we all say Soda. And DeSoto, Georgia was like a country to Americas. And I grew up, my mom and my father. And then as a child, I was always very curious. Always wanted to get into something, do something, and I always hit my mom. And always want to do better. I always want to be the best. Okay. And when I ran with my brother Carlos or the neighbors, I always want to outrun the boys. I always want to do, I always just want to be the best. As growing up as a child. And as growing up in a child, we did not have a whole lot. And my mom instilled in us, you don't work, you don't eat, pretty much growing as a child. What I mean by that is she instilled the work habit in us. Yeah. And at the age of 10, back then, we was like cutting squash, going to the field. That's how you get your school clothes. And I was the smallest one in the bunch. Yeah. And my uncle would come by and he would say, "No, you can't go today because you're too little." I'll cry. The next day, I'd go back. I'd jump on that truck. Yeah. And I would go. And
so as a child, you saw that, you heard that, and that encouraged, like you wanted to pursue that,
yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I wanted to, everybody else was going. Yeah. I wanted to go see, could I do it? Yeah. And I did it. I did some of the older people. And once I started, and I liked it.
Wow. So what did your parents do as you were kind of growing up?
My mom was a seamstress.
Okay. Wow.
And my dad, he was somewhat a peddler. Okay. Yes.
Okay. But good family dynamics, good. Y'all were together. What was that like?
Well, my mom was the one that held us mostly together. Okay. Mm-hmm. She was a good mama. She was good. She was a great mama. Good is an understatement. Yeah. She was a great mama.
I love it.
So she taught us the values that she knew, because she became a mom at 16. So she taught us what she knew. And back then, what she knew was you go to school, you get a job, you handle business, and that's what she taught us. Yeah. Yeah. She taught us family values. It was 6 of us. And she used to say the term, It's 6 of you all. You don't need no one else to play with. Don't leave out the yard. She dared us. And my mom put fear in us, you know.
Yeah.
And also, by her putting fear in us, she was the mom that was open to life. You know, she said, you better not do this here, but she was not that strict parent to say, well, my child is not this way or my child is not that way. She let us experience life, but then in the same token, she told us the wrong and the right way of life. If you do this, these are the repercussions or the consequences that you're gonna have for doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And she taught us how to cook. She was one of those parents that everybody had a chore.
Yeah.
When you got of age, everybody had a chore. I had a sister that's 5 years older than me. My sister was cooking at age 10.
Wow.
Yes. And as she moved out the way, my next sister, and then I came along.
Yep.
You know, and she always said, we was like, Mama, why the smaller ones can't do it? She said, you're the oldest, you do it.
That's right.
You know, she was like, she was preparing us for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's pretty much my...
So did you want to like be super close to her all the time and help Mama, or were you always trying to find like, okay, I got done what Mama didn't need me to do. I'm gonna go out and play.
Well, I went out to play, but when Mom came home from working, it was like 4:30 in the evening, and we had to have the house clean, and who time to cook, had to have meal done, and she was the one, we was up under her like summertime. She'll teach us how to go to pick peaches, and we'll freeze peaches for the summer to pick the peas, you know. Yeah. She was a loving mom that valued family. She valued family.
Yeah.
You know, she was the one that she meant what she said, and she mean what she said.
Yeah.
She was that kind of mom. She did not play with you.
And I would assume with 6 kids, it's really important to mean what you say.
Yeah, mean what you say. Yes, and she was that mom. And growing up in the house with 6 siblings, 5 other siblings, you know how to love. You know how to care because of the value my mom put in us. Like on Sunday morning, you getting up, going to church. Now, I'm the one gonna stall washing dishes thinking that I'm not gonna go to church.
Okay.
And she said, I don't care. You can not stall all you want to. She said, Gal, you ain't gotta get in that think you finna go to church, but you going to church. And that was one thing she taught us. And we could not sing a tune, and she would make us sing in the choir.
Oh, fully in. Fully in.
Easter speech, Mama.
Yeah.
Yes. We're gonna do an Easter speech.
Wow.
Yes,
wow,
she was
beautiful.
She was that mama. Yeah. And guess what? From the oldest to the youngest.
Yeah.
We all shared that with going to church, getting up on a Sunday morning, washing dishes, she's cooking, and you're gonna go to church. I don't care what you do, she didn't even care what we wear.
Yep.
She was like, but you're going to church.
You go, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was her. You know,
wow.
She was that mom. And just growing up in a country town, that Americans thought we was country.
Yeah.
Well, you know, no stoplights. And we didn't really know a whole lot because of just what our parents showed us.
Okay.
As city life, we didn't know city life, you know, because we only knew what our parents showed us. They didn't teach us, well, you're going to college. My mom, her mindset was, you're going to military or you're going to get a job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they was like, I can't afford to send you to college. You know?
Yeah.
So, and that's where mostly that we was taught as a child.
Yeah.
Work.
Yeah.
Work.
Absolutely.
Work. work.
What's definitely seems like it's out of some great love for you all and protection for you all and future for you all, especially, like you said, getting you to church, that's important for her.
And even my dad, he didn't go with us, but he's going to make sure you're going to go. If your mom said it, you're going.
Yeah.
And he was the one that I get my hustle part from my father.
Okay. Yeah.
He was the person that's going to sell. He's gonna do it. And one day I heard my dad say, "I'll sell this paper bag if someone buy it," and it stuck with me all my life.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and he was that hustle, selling chicken on the street, know.
Yeah.
He was that person.
That's that courageous spirit right there, being able to do that.
Yes, and he was a softball coach, and I was the one always ran behind him with softball. And I was little, but the other girls on the team was a little better than me, but I was the fastest.
Yeah.
So the big women to get on the base, and I'll run them in.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes. And my dad was that person. He always told us. And it's one thing he always stuck with me about my dad was, he said, if you get it in your head, no one can take it from you.
Wow.
If you get the paper, no one can take it from you. And he also told us, if you don't save nothing but $10 a week, save it. Guess what? I didn't listen to my dad because I didn't save that $10 a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he encouraged us to do those things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, so let's just say you're, 7, 10 years old. What were some things that you were attracted to as far as, kind of your future, your life? You're still in the country. You're like, what do I want to be when I grow up? What were those questions? Where was your mindset at that age?
You didn't have those questions because of you in the country. All you know was work. Whatever came up was where you was going to work at.
Yeah.
At 7, 8 years old, we're going to school and all we see is our parents work.
Yeah.
It was no sit down and say,
let's write out your life plan, all that kind of stuff. Yes. It's just, hey, we're here.
Once you get out of high school, get to graduate, that was there. Bring home good grades, graduate.
Okay.
And after graduate, we'll figure it out then.
Yeah.
We was never sat down and said, well, what did we want to be at this age? All my mom was bring on good grades.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we was taught.
Do you feel like that kind of made things a little bit even just more simpler for you, just to be able to say, okay, I'm just going to take the next step instead of, with like, for example, there's so many options now. It confuses a lot of people. It's like, you can be 100,000 things. It's like, well, sometimes it's just simple to be like, all right, we're going to move forward here. We'll worry about that when we get done. And, so, let me ask you this: what were you engaged in, like the arts, like music? What were you listening to at that time?
Well, we was listening rock, R&B, Soul Train.
Okay.
What's Miracle Bandstand?
Okay.
What's Late Night? God, it's one came on at late at night. But back to what I was saying, I was never focused on what I want to be as an adult because I was always trained to get to adult.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just get there.
Get there.
Just get there.
Cross the bridge when we get to it. That's what was said. We'll cross this bridge once we get to it. You just get here. You just do your homework. You just get your lesson. We'll get this in. And out of 6 kids, my mama was a seamstress. She sewed our clothes. She did this for us, So it was never sit down and say what you want to be when you go to graduate. It was get there. My oldest sister wanted to go in the Navy because she was the brilliant one out the family and still lives today.
Mad props. Yeah. So do you feel like that was something that just helped you in that time as far as was that encouraging to you to just be able to say, hey, I don't have to worry about that right now? Or how did that help and shape mold you as you grew up?
As I grew up? Because she always encouraged us to do our best.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever you're gonna be the best at it.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah.
So, and she always I was Miss Something Kind of High one year, in my senior year. And I always wanted to be like my older siblings. My sister next to me was a cheerleader. I wanted to be a cheerleader.
Yeah.
You know, my oldest sister worked at Wendy's. I went to work at Wendy's.
Yeah.
It was like my oldest sister was going in, and then when I got in high school, my oldest sister was finna go in the military. I thought about the military.
Yeah.
Because as like I say, we growing for this small town, there's nothing here. So we was always taught military job, factory.
Yeah.
It was Manhattan Shirt Factory here.
Okay.
Davidson, Redlands, military factory.
Okay.
That's what we was taught. You know, the smarter people was taught college.
Mm-hmm.
But by coming from a family that's not with a large income,
mm-hmm.
college was not an option.
Yeah.
Because how he was going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you get. How do you get connected? Where do you end up then? Go through high school.
I go through high school. I become a senior.
Okay.
3 months before I graduated, I became pregnant.
Okay.
I graduated. My mom told me, mamas don't go to school. I was so afraid that my mom was gonna make me quit school. Because back then, you know, it was a disgrace for a pregnant girl to walk around in school. Mm. You know, back then it was. Mm-hmm. Now it's not, but back then it was. Mm-hmm. And it was shameful to my parents. And so I graduated. Once I graduated in May, I still work. I worked at Wendy's. My oldest sister worked at Wendy's. I went to work at Wendy's.
Yep.
And by October 1st, my mom went in a coma. Mm. My world shattered. I'm pregnant. 9 months pregnant with it. Where I'm going, what I'm finna do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was the kind of the week before that October 1st, you said, right? Mm-hmm. What was that week like? Do you remember kind of how the events kind of took place?
I normally talk to my mom every day. And this day I was over my neighbor's house. She was in the hospital. My mom was in the hospital suffering with a back pain. She had her back at work. Okay. And so she was in the hospital. And so that week, she was saying kind of crazy stuff. And Sally Ann, you're old enough, if anything happened to me, you all can take care of yourself. Like, what the world, Mama keep saying this stuff for? Mm-hmm. And so, about 1 o'clock that Tuesday, I walked through the house to call her. As I was walking through, coming in the house, the phone rang and said they needed the immediate family of Ozzy Watts right away. Mm. And then my dad came, they rushed. And at the time, I didn't really know what a coma really in medical terms were. Mm-hmm. You know, coma, what's a coma? What do they mean by a coma? She gonna come out, this, you know? And after that, when she never came out in so many days, okay.
Yeah.
My siblings, we had a bond. I had an aunt, my mom's baby sister, Bertha. She came, she kind of held us together and stepped in because she was the baby of my mom's siblings, and my mom and her had a great bond, and she came in and stepped in, and here we go. And so after I had my baby, that's when I became.
Yeah. Seemed like you would have to pick up really fast.
I picked up.
In the midst of suffering and confusion.
And don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I picked up really fast because of what my mom had taught us. She taught us unconditional love.
Mm.
If it's one thing, she taught us how to handle a house
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how to make a house a home.
Mm.
She taught us that.
Yeah.
And so by her saying, it's 6 of you all, don't leave out the yard,
Mm-hmm.
I knew what I had to do as my oldest sisters and brother was out of the house.
Yeah. So what did that look like for you? What was you stepping up looking like?
I'm a person that don't really think about it. I just do it. And I had my crying nights. I had my confusion nights. I had my nights where, what I do? What am I gonna do next? I had my moments of making wrong choices. I had all of those in there, you know. But in the end, it's to get to the finish line. And that is to make sure my baby brother graduate, my baby sister graduate. My baby brother was 16. I signed for him to go into the Navy. But since I was on the 18, they didn't accept my signature. So my oldest sister had to come in and sign for him to go into the Navy. And so he went into the Navy, and my baby sister, we spoiled her. And as of today, she's still spoiled today, and she's 50 years old.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So there you are. You're just had your baby, taking care of your siblings, a lot going on.
Yes.
Um,
And I had already started paying bills while my mom worked my comp check. I was already paying bills. So she had already kind of molded me of what to do.
yes.
She had already taught us how to cook, the basics anyway.
Yeah.
So that didn't come hard. It was like she was molding me or molding us because she knew what was about to happen to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just in my head to think, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you support yourself during that time as well?
Well, we supported my son. He had a allotment from his dad when in the military. He had an allotment check, and that was some. And my mom works my comp check came every week, so that I didn't have a whole lot. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have a whole lot. So I made the best of what I had. And it's just like playing every card that's dealt to you. And growing up and watching my mom being a survivor out of what she had to survive off of. So I knew the survival mode.
Yeah.
And if I had 3 pair of pants, wash those 3 pair of pants, that's what I wore.
Yeah. So when did you start kind of, you graduated, did you start working right away?
I was working when I graduated.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And see, when my mom went into coma, I had stopped working before I had my baby. And so after that, I realized that, okay, we need more. I want more. I went to Burger King for a couple of weeks. And my middle sister used to let me borrow her car. And had a friend used to let me borrow her car, Tavia Mercer. And I saw a girl came through. She's selling, won't you try to come in wood grain on night shift? I said, wood grain, night shift? I don't think that. I'm gonna leave my baby. He already spoiled, crying. And I thought about it. God said, do it. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I just did it. And as of today, and sitting here talking to you, I don't know how I did it.
Wow.
But I did it. I hitchhiked for about 2 years from DeSoto to Americas.
Okay.
And back home before I bought my first brand new car.
Wow. Wow. So things just started coming up before you. you put those values into place, working hard, being ready, finding people to come and help support where you could,
Yes.
just making
Made
it.
friends,
And,
family.
And it started building at that point. Then
Yes.
you mentioned you started working for Cooper Tires for a while.
Yeah.
And then now even...
Well, I went to work at Wood Grain for a while.
That's right, Wood Grain. And then,
Yeah,
and then Cooper Tire?
Then Cooper Tires. I went to Wood Grain for 16 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then Cooper Tire. And then now currently you're working...
At Robins Air Force Base.
At Warner Robins Air Force Base.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do there?
I am a professional sheet metal mechanic.
Yes. So, all right. So tell me a little bit about how that conversation from Cooper Tire there, and what you're currently, what that means for you when you show up for work. So how did you get the job? How did you get transitioned into that?
Oh, well, Cooper Tires eventually closed down.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen a friend like, Zillian, want to try to go to school? I'm like, I didn't do my work in school. I'm not going to go to school. I've been out of school 20 years.
Yeah.
So I applied. I went and took the assessment test. And I went through and I had a friend say, Zillian, then I saw aircraft structure.
Yeah.
And they said it's a co-op program, Robins Air Force Base. You know, you left Cooper Tires to make pretty good money. So now you got pretty good bills. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You kind of find yourself, you're like, okay, now I got to work this out.
Yes. So I went to school for the aircraft structure, and then I got into the co-op program. Okay. And I was the goal attendants when I went. The goal attendants were the person that they choose out of the class that was the A student, the one work hard. Mm-hmm. For my class, I was the goal attendant.
Wow.
Person.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a huge honor. That's great.
And I graduated AB honor roll.
Look at that.
But
Love
God.
it. You said what?
But God.
But God, that's right.
But God.
That's right. Now, your last name also has Hartage in it.
Yes.
So when did we meet Mr. Hartage?
Well, Mr. Hartage came, way back. My daughter's 28 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Hartage is my second husband. I had first husband was Joe Floyd, and this is my second husband. Okay. And I kind of met him when I was at Wood Grain.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So and currently, what does he do?
He's works at Procter & Gamble in Albany.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. All right. So you guys are here, Sumter County, your place. You've seen a lot of great places. We know, Warner Robins. We just mentioned before how it's growing. It's a great city to be a part of, and there's a lot going on. So how do you So for example, when someone says, Sally, tell me a little bit about Americus. How do you describe Americus to people?
Well, it's a small community town that once had two rivalries, Sumter County Rams and America's High Panthers. Mm-hmm. And now it's one school. Okay. It's a small community town where everybody knows your name.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Mm. So, and with that being said, some have its good and it's bad. Mm. Yeah. Because everybody know your name. It's small. Like when my son had cancer, I had a lot of support group because I was once a PTO president at Staley. And I ran my kids from recreation to high school. I was that mom with the feeding everybody kids. You know.
Let's talk about that just a little bit before we get to that. Okay. So you just mentioned a big word, the C word, right? Cancer. It's a big deal. When we hear that word, there's a lot that comes with that. Mm-hmm. So share just a little bit about your son and what that was like for you going through that. So.
Well, my son, Randy, he's always been a student. He was a lock-key child at age of 6 because I was married and then I ended up with a divorce. Okay. Well, I didn't have a divorce but at that time, but he was the child that go home, Randy, lock the door, mama got to work, You know, stepdad got to work. You got to go home and lock the door. He was always a brilliant child. So, and throughout growing, back in 2013.
Yes. Good.
Back in 2013, he had an episode where his head was hurting. I took him to Harvey's to check his pulse, and he fell. I rushed him to the hospital. They gave him a CAT scan, and the doctor said that he had a brain tumor.
Wow.
And
how hard was that news? I mean, what was that like, that moment?
it was like a freight train had ran me over, but I know I had to keep standing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what were the next steps then in that moment?
Well, at that moment, we had to find a doctor. And at that moment, we had to find some money because he go to college. He's a career student. And we got to find someone with some insurance, someone that would take him, you know. And I called the doctor. They said one doctor bill was, I think it was $250,000. And the surgery was going to take, you're going to need $25,000 to do the surgery. Okay. But when I went and I talked to them, prayed about it, I ended up paying $3,000. They did the surgery free.
Wow. Because
of this, they needed research. And you know, Emory is a research.
Yes, absolutely.
But with that coming, it was still challenging because missing work, gas, and if you don't have anything in the bank, council will take everything you own.
Yeah, wow.
Even your loved one. Counsel is a word that is need to be very well respected.
Yeah.
Because it would take any and everything from you.
Wow.
And I had a friend that works at Global Graphic, Jerry. He said, Sally, he said, do anything you can to keep your family because cancer took my friend everything he had. And so then, okay, now it's come the time, my son is suffering. How can you get a child when you see a grown man crying, you can't do anything for him?
Yeah.
Now, what I do, what I say, you can't really say anything because there's nothing to say to bring the pain, to ease the pain. We just got to go through it, be there and go through it. And on my son's birthday, February 6th, that's when he had his surgery, 2014. So that's when he had the surgery. And then after that, our world began to really change.
In what way?
Americans couldn't treat him. So everything we had to do, we had to go to Emory. The day he had surgery, the day we came home, it was just the blizzard in Atlanta when all the cars and everything was out the road. And the day he came home, his brain fluid began to come out of his head. So we came home, we happy. We touched him in the back of his neck and all this fluid in the back of his neck. We called the hospital. One of my friends, Tracy, Finch, telling you finna get back on the road. Yes, I got to go. You ain't got no clothes, no everything dirt, but I got to go.
Yeah.
Back up the road we go.
Yeah. Wow.
With that, with meningitis. He had meningitis, and they sent us home to see about him with meningitis.
Okay.
My daughter was like an angel. She was going to school for nursing. So some of this stuff, she kind of basic, knew like the IV. They sent us home with the IV. Every 4 hours we had to change. After that, we had to go back. It was something else went on.
Yeah.
They gave him up at least 5 times.
Wow. How was he doing throughout
He
this
was not
process?
doing. He had this roller coaster where he was mean. He was, you don't know. And half of a lot of the things that happened to him, he do not know. And I thank God he don't know. Like stuff that we had to do for him, and it would take a man's manhood from him.
Yeah.
So he don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that that memory of him disappeared. Because what he would feel now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went from radiation. I'll drop them off on a Monday, go to work all week, go pick them back up on a on a Friday.
Yeah.
And it was like every week we was up and down the road and going back and forth to the hospital.
When did that season kind of come to a close where it wasn't that heavy with kind of going back and forth and things became a little bit more sustainable?
I think it was 6 weeks with radiation where we stayed in the Hope Lodge. Then after radiation, he went straight into chemo.
Okay.
So when he went into chemo, he had stayed 1 week at a time in the hospital where we go stay in the hospital with him. Yeah. So that was 2014. We went through all of that in 2014. 2015, I think the cancer was gone. It was in remission.
Okay. Okay.
And by 2015, the doctor said it was gone.
Wow.
He said that if he had this cancer, it would, by it being so aggressive cancer, it would have been killed him by now.
Yeah.
He was number 12 in the world. And nobody lived to be over 6 years old.
Wow. So but God, right?
But God.
Wow. So what? So surgery went well. Cancer is gone.
Now,
but there's still things that you guys as a family still have to process, right?
Yes. I have to. Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have to process him not being the Randy that I used to know. I have to process that some of the mistakes he made, I have to be gentle because I want him to be who he was, but he's not. Now, I begin to think. At first, I didn't think about it. Now, I'm seeing, okay, my son is on a walker. This, that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it began to tear me down, but I made it look good.
Yeah.
But God.
Yeah. Yeah.
But God.
Now, you mentioned to me that he had told you one time, or at least asked you, Mom, what do you love to do?
Yes.
And not only did you share with him what that was, but you also made him a part of that.
Yes. He asked me doing one of his stakes when the doctor thought he was not going to make it. Well, no, he had made it. And we was home watching TV. And he was going through a little episode, thinking about life. And he said, Mom, why do you never do anything that you love? You're always taking care of everybody else. When are you going to do something that you love? So I said, wow. So that's when I began to start by baking cakes and catering. And so, and behold, now I have a food truck. And he was my inspiration to get this truck because I want to make him functional, because help him be functional in the world. Because I felt like as a mom, that's what I need to do.
Wow. Yeah.
And him not being able to have a 9 to 5 and with 2 kids, I need to help him. Yeah. And it's a struggle because some days he's like, and I'm like, Randy, you know, but we're not totally up and functional working, but we in the working process. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing to me because, I mean, even just hearing your story right now and going, there was never, I won't say never, I don't want what was in your mouth, but there wasn't a time where someone gave you the moment to say, what do you love to do? And for the first time, it's your son who's just gone through cancer, is sitting there and is not the same Randy, but says, Mom, what do you love to do? It was the first time, probably, in many ways, that someone ever asked you, what do you love to do, Mom?
What I want. Because I always felt like not what I wanted to do or what I loved to do, what I had to do.
Yeah, that's a big thing that your son gave you the opportunity to answer that question. And you did, and then you brought him along.
Yes.
And you still have that work ethic. You still have that drive, but you do it in a nurturing way. And I think that's so amazing.
Yes, it's get rough. We have our fallouts, but you know, but it's coming.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I know if I keep my perseverance, keep pushing and putting God first, because when I first got it, it was me. And then seemed like everything in the world was going wrong. I had to, every time I take 2 steps forward, I have to take 1 step back. I'm like, what is going on, God? God said to me, because you're not letting me do it. And I always was that person gonna do it. I want to do it.
Yeah.
Because in his sickness, I was laying in my bed, and I was calling everybody.
Yeah.
And no one answered the phone. God said it's time for you to talk to me. You're talking out to your support group, but you need to talk to me.
All right.
And that's when I told God I was mad.
Come on.
Why you do this to me? Why you didn't go get these other kids that this? I actually told them. But you know what God said? You acted like you have shown me that you can stand up. You this person, and I needed someone. So I chose you. And with choosing you, I got Randy. Because I know he was a survivor. He took everybody else's kids while we went to work.
Yeah.
He was a child. I spanked him 1 time in school.
Yeah.
In kindergarten.
Yeah.
And so, and I told God, I said, God, if you're going to take me through this, I won't be Peter, but God, I definitely don't want to be Joe. Took everything Joe had. I do not have the Joe spirit. I told God that. Because I was honest to God.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, a lot of us say, oh, I can be Joe. You have to think about it. You got to read Joe a little bit deeper.
That's right. Yeah.
Because he took everything. He gave it back to him.
Yeah.
But he took everything. And so that's what I asked God. And when I was talking to God, I was like, I was in a supernatural state. God told me, he said, Sally, if I do this for you, I need you to move out my way. You got, because I was not going to sleep at night. Every time my son run, I would take off in the room.
Yeah.
It was like I was going to work off no sleep.
Wow.
But God.
Wow.
And so God said, and I asked God, I said, God, if you gonna take me through this and I move out the way, I need you to carry me.
Yeah.
If you carry me, I will move out the way. That was a Tuesday that my son got sick on Saturday. We rushed him to the hospital. He had C. diff, that is bacteria from chemo.
Mm.
When I got there, the doctor came out and shook his head. I told the doctor, I said, that's what you say. And I told God, I said, God, you're a man that don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a man to hold your word.
Mm.
I said, God, I'm not ready for you to come to my son. You told me to move, and I did. And I need you to come in. I need you to heal my son.
Mm.
I had pastors, my sister, everybody came. He went intensive care from that Saturday, that Sunday, that Monday, he was in the room.
Wow.
But God.
Yeah.
But God.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But
God. Mm. Wow. I mean, wow. There's a lot. There's so much there, Sally. There's so much there. Well, let's kind of look towards kind of currently what you're doing. One of the things that you mentioned to us just as we're kind of talking about it is this idea of mentorship, and I'd love to talk a little bit about that. You mentioned about working at the Air Force Base. And doing that, and but one of your passions that you started doing a little bit earlier, a couple of years ago, and you want to kind of bring that back and give it more of a central focus.
Yeah, I have
is this idea of mentorship, and so I'd love to spend a little bit of time just talking through that, and then maybe just really quickly, kind of just looking ahead towards the future. So just tell me a little bit about why mentorship is very important to you. And why is it needed in this day and age, like the mentorship that you want to provide?
Yeah. Well, mentorship is very important to me because when my mom went in a coma, I didn't have no one. I had someone, but I didn't have someone. They was there, but I didn't have that special attention. Because everybody was busy with their own lives.
Yep.
And so then I was in my bed one day and I was thinking, and I had went down home and I looked around and I said, these young kids, and being around young kids all the time, because I always had a house full of people all the time in my house with my son kids. I said, we need somebody to help single moms. I was a single mom. Yeah. Single dads need help. Yeah. And we look at the ones that the government provides help for, but what about those ones that's working and struggling? Yep. Where they're going to get their help from? Yeah. We really don't get it. Yeah. Those are the ones really needed because you got gas, you got baby daycare bills. Yep. You know, who's going to be there for you? Yeah, yeah. Who's going to pick them up from your sports? You're trying to provide. That's right. You're trying to not be here. You're trying to grow. Yeah. And so by that, I looked at it and I just said, okay, I see myself in some of these little girls. Yeah. And then in my head, it popped and said, this is me. Those little girls was me. Those women were me. Wow. Are me.
So what are some of the basic, like you mentioned a couple of
the basics of life. Yeah. Teaching the girls everyday life for as how to properly fold a towel. How to sort out clothes to put them in the washer. Now kids put all the clothes in the washer. Yeah. White socks come out blue. Yeah. White socks come out pink. Yeah. How to stitch a stitch. If she get a hole in her pants. Yeah. Are she gonna wear that hole? Or you just gonna throw them over here, go by? No. When you can just put a stitch there. Yeah. How to thread a needle. Basic. How to boil water. Yeah. How to turn the thermostat down when you go to bed at night. Yeah. How to turn all the lights on when you're not using them. Basics of life. Yeah. That's gonna be a survival mode for you. You know, we thinking we give them a game, let the game be their babysitter. That's not basics life.
Yeah.
It's just teaching them some wicked stuff of the world, or you know.
Yeah. How to be distracted, but not necessarily how to be devoted or,
Yes.
focused.
Yes.
Right.
How to help mom. Because most moms, by being a single mom, most moms come home and they're aggravated because I done worked all day, now I got to go home and cook.
Mm-hmm.
But what if that 12-year-old or that 13-year-old knew how to cook?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
You have to be light off their mom or knew how to put clothes in the dryer. I'm not saying all of them don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying.
But the ones,
But the ones.
The ones that are being drawn to be a part of that. And I think being a next level neighbor, right? Doing this is being intentional with the relationships around us. Yeah. Sometimes we don't know that that people are struggling because, like you said, they're either too busy or they're too distracted. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that everyone has to do everything, but I'm saying that, if people like you begin to focus and say, wait a minute, I want to mentor, I want to be there, I want to engage, but I have to be intentional. I have to be looking around and I have to be available to others. And I think that is so key in this world because some kids, they may not tell you they want it, but they need it. And they know that they want it, but they just don't know how to communicate it. And they don't know if they could trust you long enough. But we all need it. Yes. You needed it. I needed it. I still need it. I'm a grown man. I still need men around me that would encourage me and mentor me. So.
And when girls get in high school and boys get in high school, that's when we don't think we need PTO anymore. Mm. We turn them loose to the wolves. Yeah, that's when they need it the most.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Peer pressure. But we thinking, they grown now, they'll be grown. Just because you turn 18, the law say you grown, you're not grown if you have a 2-year-old brain. Mm-hmm. You're not grown.
Absolutely.
So, and that's what, because I look at myself.
Yeah.
I'm back to me again.
Yeah.
When my mom went in the coma when I was 18, what if she hadn't done some of the things she done for me? Mm-hmm. What if she was that strict mom? You're gonna wash clothes, or you're gonna polish the table. Then you go outside and play. You're gonna do your chores. Then you go.
Yeah.
Most moms now are working so much. When we get home, we don't have time for any of that.
Yeah.
But if that's just my neighbor can help me.
Yeah.
If I have someone that my daughter can rely on, loyalty.
Yeah.
Loyalty. I'd rather have loyalty over friends any day. Mm. The loyalty of it.
Yeah.
See, because loyalty is not going to make you talk about it. Mm-hmm. Loyalty is not going to make you have a second guess. Mm-hmm. Loyalty is going to say, I have to do this.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm here. Mm-hmm. Because when my son went in a coma back to that, you never know who you might need in this world. Mm-hmm. You never know what are you going to go through in this world. Mm.
Yeah.
But if you never take time out for someone else, God never takes time out for you. And I learned that the hard way. Mm. So that's why my mentor group, I want to get back in it. Because I had a little rocky stuff with my own life. And so I had to get me right to get my mentor group back right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now, since God don't work on me, okay, God, here am I.
Yeah.
Use me.
Yeah.
And someone asked me, well, you have a lot of grandkids. Why would you need a mentor group? Because I train my kids to take care of their kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be there for them.
Yeah.
A lot of kids don't have the backbone of great grandparents.
Yeah.
Or great dad, great moms.
It's very true. Yeah. It's very, very important. I mean, I think what you're going to do and be doing and what you've already done, even with your own kids, helping to establish these things are we don't need to lose those things. There's a lot of things that we need to grow in and mature in, but those things need to be set as standards for every home because we don't know. We don't know this idea of plenty. Like you said, there might be a moment where we just got to survive, and we need to know what the basics of that is, right? And so it seems like to me that God has allow these things to take place in your life to be able to equip those for those moments. And
because
so
you can't teach anyone something that you've never been through.
yeah, that's tough.
It's a lot of us love to talk about things that we have heard,
Mm-hmm.
but I talk about things that I know.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are ashamed of where they've been, but they want to go over here.
Yeah.
But you can't be ashamed of where you've been to get over here.
Yeah.
Because you might have to think about, I can't make these same wrong choices because I was over here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
everybody want to pass the test.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody want the testimony. But are we preparing them to pass the test for the testimony?
Mm-hmm.
We need to start learning, teaching young people how to pass the test, to tell the testimony, because they're going to have a testimony
Yeah.
somewhere down the line. But we
Yeah.
got to teach them how to pass the test.
Yeah.
And in life don't care how you get it. They're going to teach you.
Yeah, that's okay. No, that's well. Let me go ahead and one of the things that we love to do with people that are that are guests is just pointing towards the future just a little bit. I think obviously mentorship is a future-minded thing. It's generational. It's passing down. It's investing in the right places, and so. And I think even before the podcast, we are kind of talking about that. And you said, listen, mentorship, pouring into young people is very valuable. So if anyone's listening right now and they're trying to figure out what can make America's better in the future, what can we see that's going to be a huge impact? It's looking at the generation that's coming up and saying, where are their values? Who's pouring into them? Who needs just a little bit more of a village around them? And being intentional and engaging and seeing the need and stepping in. I think that's very, very helpful. And if we're all doing it, then we all have that support group. And be a person that's not, as you said, be a person that's not just, hey, I'm a friend in title, but that friendship comes with this word loyalty.
Yes.
That I want to be there as much as I can.
Transparent.
Yeah, and be transparent. So I think that's really, really helpful. So, if you're ever looking into how to invest, I know as a new neighbor, I'm looking into investing. How do I invest my time, my energy, my resources? I think mentorship is a huge asset to this community. And so, but yeah, I thank you for sharing that.
But if you look around and the gun violence, my sons had, and then I had a nephew with gun violence. He got killed on his birthday. And my son, don't have two best friends died of gun violence. And if we begin to be a community again, we so quick to turn our cheek when it's not involving us until it hit us. That's when we go out and, we want to have these stop the violence campaigns, rally. Then it's disappear to the next time. Then it's bike up, then it's disappear to the next time. I say to get that, that's when these mentors, because these kids are our future. We're getting older. So who's going to be that nurturing nurse? Who's going to be that doctor?
Yeah.
Who's going to be that lawyer? Who's going to be that trash truck driver? We also need who's going to be that maid? If they don't have any values.
Yeah.
If their value is not there, what's going to happen to us?
Yeah. That's a good question. And that's a heavy question. A question that needs to be considered, right, as we look towards the future, and pouring into these great kids that have great futures,
Right,
if someone would just notice them, encourage them, give them some sense of value as well, and say, look,
all of them not bad. They just make wrong choices.
Yeah. Pointing out one of the things I'm learning about, even with my kids, is when you recognize that they do something good, just continue to encourage it, celebrate that, because what we celebrate, we can replicate. But if the only conversations we're having with our kids or others is what they're doing wrong, then they see themselves as, I'm the person that always does the wrong thing.
Right.
And so making sure a mentor says, hey, I understand. There's a lot of things that we're going to have to work through, but I noticed this. And I'm going to put forth the effort to encourage you to continue to step into those things. And I'll help you walk through these, but I want you to step into those things. And I think that's very, very needed. So I'm glad.
And as an adult, we have adults to talk to. As a child, go on over there. We don't want to hear that. You don't want, you shoot them out.
Yeah.
That's where a child mental block. That's where these kids get on this medicine because we push them over to the other room. What if someone didn't listen to us? If we went through a bad marriage or a bad break down at work, what if someone didn't listen to us? Where would we be?
Yeah, we need to listen. We need to listen. We need to hear.
Yes.
We need to get wise counsel. We need to involve people. We need to involve the community and see what the best path, what is the best path forward for our child or our friend that we're pouring into. And I think that's really, really helpful. So
some gonna have money, some not gonna have money. Some gonna go to this school, some not gonna go to that school. But in the end of the day, we're all human.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we all breathe the same air.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because God, and I tell people all the time, God knew what he was doing when he designed all of us different. Because what if all of us was the same? We wouldn't go nowhere.
Yeah.
What if all of us was pastors? You wouldn't have me to listen to you.
Yeah.
So God knew what he was doing. So we got to
he loves being creative. He loves it.
Because he gave everybody a talent. He gave every child a talent. God gave every one of us a gift. We just need to dig deep enough and find our gift.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. As we kind of land the plane, I love to ask what's called rapid fire questions. It's basically just 2 or 3 seconds that just kind of gets us to know you just a little bit on more of a personal level.
All right.
So I've got 2 or 3 here. What do you do when you get a chance to relax? Probably there's sometimes some seasons. There's a season to relax, right? There's a Sabbath, right? Once a week, if we can get there. What are some things that you like to do or would do when you got a chance to just relax? What would that look like for you? Just a couple of things that you would like to do. Rest, sleep.
Lay on my sofa and flip my TV.
There you go. That's okay. That is okay.
Yes.
I find myself wanting to just let it.
And sometimes my husband come home, no TV's on. I'm in the dark because I just want my brain to stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slow down.
Yeah, that's right. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. Do you have a favorite song or that you're listening to right now, or maybe a particular genre of music that you're just really enjoying right now?
I think it's by This Is My Season by William Murphy.
Okay. This Is My Season by William Murphy. Okay. All right. I haven't heard that song, but I'm gonna look it up. All right. Favorite place or favorite type of food to eat? What do you love to eat when you get a chance?
Collard greens. I'm country girl. Love collard greens and fried chicken.
Come on.
You asked me.
I love it.
Pound cake.
I love it. There it is. Just throw it on there.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just a plain person.
That's fine. What's your, do you have a favorite family or, activity that you guys like to do or get a chance to do?
Laugh.
Love it.
Joke each other. I'm the jokester.
Oh, really? Throwing it out there? Can you can dish it. Can you take it?
A little bit.
Okay, I can't take it. Don't.
See, cause I'm the one. They dish it. You gotta dish it hard to come at me now.
I can't do it. I need to get better at that because I love it. All right. Last question. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Paris.
Paris. Just because the scenery, the what about it? What about Paris?
Just where Queen Elizabeth. That's Paris.
Mm-hmm. It's
England.
England, right? England, yeah.
England.
Yeah.
That's where
Beautiful place.
Just looking at the scenery. Just want to go and see the big, tall buildings.
Yeah.
You ever been a child and you looked up in the tree
Mm-hmm.
and just seen the big, tall tree? I just want to see those big, tall buildings all around.
That's beautiful. It is beautiful.
And how quiet it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's no zoom, zoom.
Mm-hmm.
It's just quiet.
Yeah.
And then I would want to go to Africa.
Okay. Yeah.
I love animals.
Mm.
And you know, of all things last year, my husband asked me what I want to do for my birthday. I said, I want to go to the zoo.
Nice.
Everybody said, you're crazy. I said, I know it.
I'm going to the zoo.
I'm going to the zoo. I'm going to the zoo.
Oh, that's awesome. When is your birthday?
The 12th of February.
Okay. All right. Well, I look forward to, I'll probably text you on the 13th or something and say, hey, how'd it go? Well, Sally, thank you so much for coming, for sharing your story with us. Like I said, it's being new to Americus and getting a chance to meet real people that are in the everyday walk of life, who we think of ourselves, we think, well, it's my story. There's nothing, it's just a story. But it's impactful and it matters. Your story matters. And I'm so thankful for you to share it with us today. And I look forward to some of the mentorship stuff that you'll be doing. We'll
be visiting your church.
Yeah, no, we love it. And so thank you. We're going to continue to follow up, and hopefully, like I said, on the 13th, I'll definitely reach out and I want to know what you saw and what you loved. So thank you so much for coming and being part of the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
So awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.